In one, two, three. Hello guys. Here we go again. For we're going to discuss right now about historical antecedents of agricultural extension. Don't worry guys, it's only a short one, a less than 10-minute video about discussions and mostly a reading. So here we go. Bang. Oops, another bang. Another bang please. Oh, ayun. So, number one notable happenings was happened in 18,000 BC, where the first archaeological evidence of disseminating information about agricultural practices was dated. It's all about with the discovery of the clay tablets with inscriptions about how to best water crops and reduce grain spoilage due to rats in Mesopotamia, now modern-day Iraq. For number two, the earliest surviving texts on agricultural practices came from ancient Greece and Phoenicia, such as Xenophon's work in the 4th century BC. Ancient Chinese governments also provided such advice from the 6th century BC as they were interested in maximizing tax revenue from the landowners. In 1744 is the establishment of the American Philosophical Society in Philadelphia. The said American Philosophical Society is an organization that was founded by Benjamin Franklin, and it published many essays on agricultural topics in its early years. After 10 years, in 1754, still in the United States of America, the King's College in the New York City, now the Columbia University, included in their prospectus the agriculture and merchandise in the course of study. For number 5, the beginning of agricultural extension systems in Europe has been traced to the mid-19th century that the potato famine was happened in Ireland. During that time, agricultural advisors from the United Kingdom taught farmers how to grow alternative food crops. The same for number 6. The said European potato famine that happened in Ireland, as I stated before, it actually highlighted the need for institutionalizing agricultural extension in the Europe. In the United States, the precursors of extension agencies were agricultural clubs and societies established after the American Revolution in the early 19th century. As early as 1819, a pioneer agriculture journal entitled American Farmer encouraged farmers to report on their achievements and their methods of solving problems. In 1862, the Morrill Act was passed by the U.S. Congress to provide for the establishment of agricultural colleges and to ensure government funding for agricultural education to promote agricultural production and productivity. After 5 years, in Europe, Oxford and Cambridge universities in England started sharing the practical knowledge generated by their faculty with neighboring communities. For number 9, in Asia continent, in 1899, it was Japan particularly that created the first agricultural extension in the said continent. For number 10 notable happenings is that the Extension Service first big test in the United States came during World War I, when it helped the nation meet its wartime needs by increasing wet acreage significantly from an average of 47 million acres annually in 1913 to 74 million in 1919. For number 11, during the Great Depression, the extension workers educated women in family nutrition, surplus food canning, home poultry production, home nursing, and suing to cope with the natural and economic calamities. For number 12, we have even through the years of the Second World War, the Extension Service worked to ensure the crop yields increased. In fact, food production increased during this period such that by 1944, the United States of America food production was 38% greater than the 1935 to 1939 in average. Here we go in 1950s onwards. Since the 1950s, the number of farms in the United States has declined drastically while farm production has risen dramatically. Still, in 1950, one farmer supported the food needs of 15.5 people on average. But after 47 years, that was in 1977, the said one farmer supported the food needs of almost 140 people. What an increase! On the other hand, in Latin America and the Caribbean, extension services were institutionalized after World War II. In Asia, extension services were established after the 1950s, soon after the nations received their independence. However, in most African nations, extension services started in the 1960s and 1970s. So, the extension services has been accompanied by defined hierarchical structures. So, to promote uniformity of activities, bureaucratic structures were introduced with the district used as the common intermediary bureaucratic level between villages and headquarters in 1950s onwards. With all instructions and funds flowing one way, organization became increasingly top-heavy and increasingly used, remember this, top-down approaches. In developing countries since 1950s onward, large-scale food production remains a focus. So, various models of agricultural extension and advisory services had been tried to educate farmers and agribusiness. Then, technology transfer was the principal approach of extension services early on. Training in vision extension, integrated rural development, market-oriented extension like commodity-focused, and non-formal education like farmer field schools increasingly dominated approaches to extension services in the developing countries in 1950s onwards. However, in the developed world, commercial farming faces two principal constraints. We have the surplus production and environmental degradation. Consequently, an objective of agricultural extension in those countries has focused on how farmers can continue to maintain their income from the resources while guarding against overproduction and further environmental harm. An often suggested path for these farmers is the diversification of their production systems. So, mobilizing both private and non-government sectors in the delivery of extension services was happened in the developed world. Therefore, there has been a shift in the paradigm of extension services from linear, actually, technology transfer, top-down and government-provided extension into participatory, demand-driven, and pluralistic extension. Lastly, the trend in extension has been toward helping address issues now such as climate change, food and nutrition security, linking farmers with markets, and gender integration. So, for that readings, here are my reference, but if you have time, please read or visit this page so that you can gain more knowledge about historical antecedents of agricultural extension. So that's it. As I promised, it only took less than 10 minutes. So for now, thank you for listening and see you again for the next learning video and readings. Thank you and see you again.